Derek had spent years perfecting his life's work, a machine that could take him back in time. He'd always dreamed of changing history, but not for the reasons most people might imagine. For Derek, it was about one memory that haunted him, a moment that had gnawed at him relentlessly since he was a teenager. It was the summer of his 17th year when his younger sister Sarah had drowned. He was there, watching helplessly as it happened, unable to reach her in time. Her laughter, bright and carefree, was seared into his mind, a ghostly echo he could never silence. The machine was his answer, a bridge between his grief and a hope that maybe, just maybe, he could undo that single moment. Finally, the day had come. The machine was ready. He stood in his lab, trembling as he prepared to take the plunge. He was going back to that day on the riverbank, back to the moment that would forever define him. As he stepped into the shimmering portal, a rush of memories flooded his mind, but he focused on only one: his promise to Sarah that he would always protect her. When he opened his eyes, he was there, standing on the riverbank. He could see her just a few yards away, laughing, blissfully unaware. But this time, he was ready. This time, he would save her. Derek saved Sarah that day, pulling her from the water just before she slipped under. She clung to him, shivering, confused by his frantic embrace. She couldn't understand why he was crying, but she hugged him anyway. The relief was overwhelming. He had done it. He had changed everything. Returning to the present, Derek expected to find the world brighter, better, but things weren't as he had left them. His memories were blurred, flickering between two realities, one in which Sarah had died, and another where she was alive and well. And as he walked through his own home, he noticed small, unsettling differences. A photograph on the wall he didn't recognize. A strange note left by someone named Claire. Who was she? And why did she keep leaving him messages about sticking to the plan? As the hours passed, Derek realized that he created a ripple, a subtle shift that carried unforeseen consequences. He reached for his phone to call Sarah, but the name on the contact list said Claire. His heart raced as he scrolled through photos, noticing images of a woman he had no memory of, a woman who seemed to know him as intimately as he once knew himself. Derek had changed his life, but it seemed his life had changed him as well. The more he investigated, the more Derek realized he was trapped between two realities, his memory constantly shifting between lives. Sarah was alive, but somewhere along the way, he had lost himself. He started finding journals, handwritten entries he didn't remember writing. In these pages, he discovered pieces of his life he'd never lived, memories of a different Derek who had existed in this timeline. The journals detailed a love affair with Claire, a woman he had never met, but whose handwriting filled the pages with intimate thoughts, shared dreams, and the pain of 1,000 little losses. Every line he read felt like an intrusion, a life lived by a stranger who wore his face. Derek was horrified, fascinated, and slowly, he began to wonder if he even belonged in this reality he'd created. He searched for Sarah, hoping to find her and explain everything, but when he finally saw her, he felt a pang of unfamiliarity. She looked at him with a hint of recognition, but not the familiarity he had expected. It was then he realized that, in saving her, he had also created a version of himself that never carried the weight of her loss. This Derek, this stranger, had never been haunted, never tormented. And somehow that made them strangers too. Desperate to set things right, Derek returned to his machine. He could go back again, change things once more, try to fix the shattered pieces of his life. But the idea terrified him. Every adjustment created a new reality, a new self, a new web of consequences he couldn't predict or control. Standing at the machine, he faced a choice he hadn't anticipated. Should he return to the moment before he saved Sarah and let history take its original course, or should he try to adjust his new life, piecing together fragments of memories he didn't fully understand? The journals offered clues, a map of this new life he'd inadvertently created. In them, Claire spoke of him with a love so deep it was painful to read. She seemed to know Derek as he was now, and she believed in him, even when he could no longer remember himself. The thought of erasing her, of making her another casualty of his choices, weighed on him like a stone. Could he erase a life he had never lived, but one that seemed to love him so fully? In the end, Derek realized he could never fully restore the world to its original state. He had set his life on a new course, and to change it again was to risk another cascade of unpredictable realities. Instead, he decided to live in this world, to take on the life he had unknowingly created. He would find Claire, rebuild the memories that felt foreign to him, and accept the love she had so clearly offered. And Sarah, she was alive, and she seemed happy. Her laughter was different now, lighter, unburdened by loss. Derek might never be able to hold on to his past, but he could embrace this new version of himself, this life born from a single, irrevocable choice. As he put the journals away, Derek knew that the machine had given him a glimpse of power over destiny, but it was also a reminder of the cost of rewriting fate. He would carry this weight, not as a curse, but as a testament to the lives and memories that could only exist through his choice. In this timeline, perhaps he could finally find peace,